Hi, my name is Lauren Sargent. I'm a recent graduate of Fort Hays in May of 2018, and I was a Tiger Ambassador for the past academic year. So I actually traveled on a vacation to Hawaii, Oahu, and then I think it was 2 or 3 other islands in the island chain. In August after I graduated high school. It was about a 2-week trip. We island hopped, and I fell in love with the climate and the people. Everyone was so friendly, and I still stand behind that living there. I would say like mid-October through that semester that I was gone, we decided to do a sunrise hike. So if anybody knows, if you live in Hawaii and you do a sunrise hike, you're probably going to get up around 4 a.m. in the morning to be able to get there, hike, see the sunrise at the right time. So we did the Lanikai Pillbox hike, which is one of the most beautiful places in Hawaii, and it's my favorite place in the entire world. So I still remember that morning. We got up at 4 a.m., took an Uber, and I remember got lost on the way up. It was pitch black. Got up to the top, climbed up on the pillbox. It's this big metal or concrete. It's from World War II, and there were other people who were up there, and music was playing. And I remember we just all sat up there and we just watched the sunrise. And I think it was one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen or ever will see. And it was just really serene and beautiful, and it just reminded me where I was and the opportunity that I had been given. And so I think that would be my favorite moment of the whole thing. Just one morning, a few hours. So more than anything, I appreciated living in an environment that most people would vacation in. So because I was on the island of Oahu, it's the most populated island in the Hawaiian chain. And 99% of people, I would say, don't know the real history behind what happened, why the Queen was dethroned illegally by the US. And so because of that, I was taking classes, literature classes for my minor that educated me on the real history behind the Hawaiian Islands and why they're no longer, what would you call it? Why they don't have a queen anymore or a king anymore. And I think that's really important to know because it makes you appreciate where you're living and feel a little bad also too about the history that is behind everything. But I appreciated being educated, and I learned a lot about the Polynesian culture. Anybody who travels abroad, you get a sense of world travel, and you've been outside of where a lot of these kids have grown up. I only grew up an hour from Hays, so I had never taken public transportation before. I'd never flown by myself. I learned a lot about myself, and I feel like that makes a change in you that outwardly other people can see. So I think it's really beneficial to have students on campus who have traveled outside the US, inside the US, whether it be for school or not, because you get to see that change, and you really are a different person when you come back. Whether or not you feel like you are, people can tell. So for me, it was actually because of my lack of knowledge on my experience prior to going that I wanted to be a Tiger Ambassador to educate possible kids who are going to be going on this in the future. I didn't find out about NSC until I was a sophomore, so really close to the cutoff of when I could have gone on my trip. And I feel like that made things a little bit more hurried. I wasn't as prepared when I went. So I like to be able to educate kids and get them knowing about the program from the second that they step on campus through their entire educational experience. I feel like the past year that I was an ambassador, it was perfect timing because I was a little over a year out from my study abroad experience in the first place, and then I was just graduating from Fort Hays, going into the workforce full-time. So I feel like it really helped me customer service-wise actually, because I do work as an administrative assistant now. I'm constantly interacting with the public, so I feel like that's taught me a lot. Just being able to interact with students, because I do interact with students almost more than I do my faculty that I work for. So interacting with the students, still feeling connected to them even though I am on campus already, has been really great. Developing my professional speaking skills. You know, I answer the phones for the entire art department, so I feel like that's helped me a lot just going forward, and I think it's going to help me even more. Connecting with students, I think, is the most important thing, and that's what that's helped me do. So, I would say brave. Not a lot of people would say that, but I think it takes a lot of bravery to step into a really different situation than you're not used to, different experience, different culture. Educational. I was able to take classes that I couldn't have taken just staying in Hayes, and that furthered my major and my minor. Let's see. I learned to be open-minded, so open-mindedness of other cultures, other people, other environments, another university. It was an eye-opener. I learned a lot about the history of Hawaii that I would not have known just vacationing there, and I think that was a huge eye-opener for me, both good and bad. You just learn a lot. And challenging. Good challenging for sure. I was put in a lot of, I guess you could say, like uncomfortable situations, but I think that's really important for whether you're studying abroad or it would be nationally in my case. It's really important to put yourself in challenging situations because you're not going to learn and you're not going to grow if you don't. Leader-wise, I'm just capable of more than I thought I was. I learned that I can step more out of my comfort zone than I thought I could. Taking public transportation by myself, flying by myself several times was a huge learning experience for me. I would say more than anything, make friends, step outside of your comfort zone, because if you don't do that, that's taking away part of your experience. The reason why you're there is to experience a new place, a new culture, see beautiful sights, meet people you wouldn't meet if you were home. So I would say more than anything is to do those two things, and that's going to enrich your experience. Not only just enrich your experience, but you're going to make friends that you're still going to know. I still keep in contact with a few of my roommates, and a place to stay if you ever want to come travel back.